Welcome to Adobe Live. I'm your host, Jesse Showalter, and we got people jumping in the chat right now. Sarah Sanchez is here. We got JD, Voodoo Val moderating. Let us know where you're coming from and joining us on this amazing remote Monday, because we have the amazing, the infamous Kevin Lee today. Kevin, say what's up.
Hi, everyone. It's good to be here. It's been way too long, so it's so happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have Kevin here. Kevin, if you don't know, is my spirit animal. We have done streams together, and they have been some of the best experiences of my life, and he's going to be doing some amazing work for us today. And we also have just a full day plan. So really quickly, let's take a look at the schedule. Jumping over to our schedule, we have, let me see, hold on. Boy, oh boy, that's hard to read. I lost the schedule slide, but there's definitely some good stuff on that schedule. I don't know how to make it big. I'm messing up big time right now. Well, here's what I do know. I'm just gonna lean in and read it really small. We have illustration prompts with Shauna Lynn and character design with Kimberly from Inku Design. That's who we just got done with. And then we had the Pro Max stream that came with Kathleen Martin. So talking all about Adobe Max, which is coming up, the very first virtual Adobe Max. And then we're jumping in right now with Kevin Lee. So again, a full schedule. Stick around. Make sure that you're chatting. And if you're watching this over on YouTube, make sure you jump over here to Behance so you can interact with us in the chat. We would love to do that. And stick around. At about hour 30 into this stream, we're gonna be doing our artist spotlight, where we take a look at one of your pieces of work. If you want your work featured in the artist spotlight, or you know somebody who you think should be spotlighted, you can look inside above the chat tab in the artist spotlight section, fill out that form and submit the work. But now, with all that being said, let's dive in. Kevin Lee, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us what you're gonna be working on today.
Yeah, for sure. So hi, everyone. It's good to be back. If you don't know me, my name is Kevin, and I am a UX UI designer as well as a film photographer. So who am I? I am a interaction designer, and I work at Walt Disney Company. I'm currently based in Los Angeles, California. Some cool facts about me. My favorite bop or song is In a Dream by Troye Sivan. My go-to coffee at Starbucks is a grande cold brew, 2-pump sugar-free vanilla, light heavy cream, cinnamon powder with 2 Splendas.
Yeah,
yes, I say that every time I go through drive-through. So if you're on keto, get that. It's really good. And then my favorite hobby is, like I said, film photography as well as video editing. And just going through quickly of my photography work, I think it's good to have another creative hobby outside of just what I do. And I learn a lot. And if you want to see more, check out my Instagram, shameless self-promo, and make sure to follow if you like my work. But yeah, going back to, I guess, the project that we're working on today, it will be a Penpal website. During these times, a lot of people can't see each other, and I know there's a lot of text messaging and email or whatever, but we want to go back to the old days, right? We want to write a physical letter to people. I feel like that's more meaningful than just, a text message. So this experience will be, users will be able to create an account and take a survey or questionnaire about their interest and be able to find people who have similar interests as them. This is kind of I want to find, people outside my friend group or my family group that, have the similar interest as me. So the agenda for the next 2 days, day 1 will be, designing the homepage. So this is creating the account or registering an account or your profile, getting to know who you are, maybe like an intro or explanation on the homepage and how this whole Penpal website works, and some testimonials. Then we'll work on the people search page, which will include like seeing different options of people with similar interests, filtering out these people, maybe like a percentage match score. And then if we have time, we'll work on the profile page. So like once you find someone that you're interested in writing to, you can, see more details, what common interests you both have, as well as like request their address, which I'm like kind of like that might be like a privacy issue, but maybe it's like a Amazon drop-off locker type of thing where someone can select a locker that we placed in like every location that someone can pick up the letter or
cool.
Add them as a friend.
Okay.
For day 2, if we don't finish anything, we'll catch up on everything that we did on day 1, which is today. Maybe have like a resource store section where to get like cute stamps or stationery for like cute pen pal equipment. I don't know if like you've ever saw this, but like there's like a whole YouTube section of like called Pen Pal with me, and like it's all these people just going berserk on like their creativity and making these amazing stationery like pen pal letters. I highly recommend them. It's really good just to like watch and relax, to like see people write stuff, but that's what kind of inspired that section. And then also maybe like some prototyping and micro interactions.
Very cool. So you were talking about like a little ASMR, like pen pal style, like in that last moment.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see this whole project get going. It's going to be like very calming to all of us, I think. And like you said, take us to the old school. We're like actually connect with people.
Exactly. Maybe we should just like whisper this whole live stream.
It
should just be an ASMR.
Just a little ASMR noises in the microphone, all that kind of stuff. But
like, hello everyone.
That's right. As you guys are, as Kevin's going to be designing this whole project, feel free to ask questions, ask him about his process, and we'll try to give as much like feedback and answers to those questions. Anything. It could be about your career. We didn't, and Kevin got to mention it, but for the last year and a half, he's been working at Disney Interactive. He worked freelance before that. He's got tons of experience. So we'd love to hear any and all of your questions. But Kevin, dive in. What are we looking at right now?
Oh yeah. So basically, I guess we'll just get started on my process. So what I did was I went on Adobe Fresco and I started just sketching like low fidelity wireframes. Doesn't have to be picture perfect or organized. That's why they're lo-fi. Just quick sketches of like how I want the homepage to be formatted, what content will be inside this section or feature on this website. And then maybe some like register, like what's going to be some of the text boxes for like registering. So like email, birthday, gender, location, password, some content for the questionnaire, just to getting to know like similar interests. So maybe favorite movie, band, hobbies, food, political party, sexuality, gender identity, occupation, or like even pets. Like we really want to get to know our users so they are comfortable to like with the people they match, So then we have like the people search. So the perfect matches. How will that page look like? So it'll be like a simple search bar with a filter and like maybe their perfect matches underneath. Profile page. So what do we want to include when we go to a specific person's page? Maybe like a banner, profile pic, just to really put a spotlight on just like making it very customizable for the user to really showcase who they are. Also, they're about me. Maybe they can have like add a friend or showcase what interests that they put in the questionnaire. Also, maybe have a verified batch, because like what if we're trying to get rid of like all the catfishes and like not the real people? So we did that. Yeah, and some navigation items as well. So I think it's really important to have these sketches and like what you're going to put before you even design anything. So
Yeah.
which
Is
is
this
how I
always
sketch.
part of your process just to explore a little bit in sketches? Because I think a lot of people, when they think UI design, web design, they're thinking straight to wireframe, straight to high fidelity stuff. But it seems like you always start a little bit more low fidelity and kind of explore.
Yeah, you know what? It really depends on what you're designing, because I feel like a simple thing as like a simple thing for me, like a navigation bar, like I could just go straight on with it. But if it's like a whole setup of like different features, different sections, components, I need like a sketch of just like, how am I going to format this? How am I going to lay out everything? So
Right.
yeah.
That makes sense. That's great. I also love that your wireframes, I think I'm going to have to adopt a little bit of your process here because your wireframes also kind of leave like the box format of laying things out on the page and it jumps to content. And content is one of those topics that I feel like a lot of designers forget could and should still be part of their job is to start thinking about content and how to just offer that content up for the best experience for the user.
Absolutely. Because like you can just like start designing and being like, wait, what do I want in
Yeah.
this? So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. All right. What's next? What else you got?
Cool. So basically what I did was now I grabbed everything from like the sketches that I made and I started just putting gray boxes everywhere, how I want to format it. And then also this grid system. I'm using a layout grid of like 12 columns, gutter width of 19. You can see the properties on the right, but yeah, just been quickly looking through like how I want to format everything, how I want the register option to be, and like the
Mhm.
questionnaire. So just quick things, but I guess now we can like start doing the fun thing, which is like adding color and like images. But
Sure.
yeah.
Do you prefer layout grids like this, or do you also use any of like the 8 point like Google like material design like pixel grid? You ever use that as well?
Yeah, you know, in the beginning of my career, I used a lot of the square grids, but
Hmm.
then I guess just through other experiences and for me, I just started using layout more
Yeah.
after. But I guess it just depends on like where you work or what you're more comfortable with. So
Yeah, that's good. That's great. I think a lot of people have that question is like, what's the right way to start? And a lot of times, I think your answer is probably the right answer. It's like, it kind of depends on the team you're working in. It kind of depends on how deliverables are expected to be delivered. So it's a lot of process driven stuff. There's no right or wrong answer, which is kind of cool, I think.
yeah, absolutely.
Very cool. And if you guys are
Yeah,
just
so
just joining us
mhm.
really quickly, we're with Kevin Lee, who is a UI designer, web designer who works for Disney, and he's going to take us through designing this Penpal website process or web application. So really, really exciting stuff.
Yeah, it's good to be here. I'm like, it's been a while because I know that we like I hosted you and then you hosted me that same week or something, but
That's
um
right.
yeah, that was fun. Yeah, so right now I'm just putting down like just the nav items
Hmm.
to just get this page started. So for my color palette, I was gonna go for something like a purple. So I put that in my assets on the left. For this banner, there's this cool what is it plugin called UnDraw. I've used this multiple times because I just love these illustrations. It's created by Katerina Limpasuni. I don't know if I'm
Hmm.
saying that right, but it's just basically all these vector drawings, and you can search what you're looking for. So if I'm looking for like a letter, um, this is confidential letter. So I'm gonna choose this one, and then you can just paste this file, and then it's just an illustration for your website.
Right. Is it vector
So
format when you do that?
yeah, so it's vector, and then like you can move the elements and change the color, and it's really customizable. So
Really cool.
um, so yeah, so for this, I might just get rid of this gray box overall, and then just start moving all my components down just to make room for this illustration.
Yeah, that's
Um,
nice.
Thanks. So I could even flip this and then put it somewhere here.
There's a lot of great free
Um,
resources out there for anybody that's watching the stream right now. for illustrations and photos and copy and everything. There's so many good sites for inspiration. So if you, I mean, if you're looking for stuff, let us know. We can probably give recommendations. I'm sure Kevin has a ton. I got a couple that I tend to go to pretty regularly, but there's lots of good stuff out there to use for free.
Yeah, that's what I love. Just so many like free resources. What are some good resource sites that you use for like anything?
I use like, I mean, I think all of us probably use Unsplash and like Pexels at this point, because the amount of stock photography that's out there is just insane, which is so different from like 5 or 6 years ago. Pexels also now has free stock video, which is super helpful. I use it for like a lot of my video work, and then also maybe even in web work, if I need like some sort of large playing video background, that can happen as well. And then Pablo Stanley actually put out, I think he has a site called Blush. I have to look it up, but Blush is another resource for illustrations that I use a lot. And then of course the Noun Project is when I go for like icon inspiration. What about you, Kevin? Do you have any favorite?
Noun Project for sure. I think it's just like, I would love to make my own icon library, but like sometimes I just don't have the time or like the creative patience for it. So that's perfect. Another one is another plugin that I'll probably be using later on, but UI Faces is a plugin that just has all these different like faces of people from different sources, and you can just use that for like a profile page, or like for like our people search page that you just drag in, click it and drop it into like these boxes, and then it just fills it in.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and that's like one resource, the immediate resource you go to in Adobe XD is the plugins panel. There's tons of plugins for maps and avatars and buttons and wireframes. There's just tons of stuff. So absolutely the plugin panel as well.
Nice. Cool. So for, I guess this page, oh, I don't know why it's on the opposite side, but I could just redo this. But basically I have a bunch of icons that I got from, oops, that's my intro. Icons from the Noun project. So I'm just gonna drag and drop these here. So this section of the page is kind of like the introduction of like how this website works. So people can search for people, they can add them, they can then write a letter to them and then send it to them. For these, I just use like one word because I think, it's just easier for user to like get what you're trying to say. So so this is where credit is due. So I did not make these icons. These are all from the Noun project. So you can like look at who created them, but I'm going to just delete this because.
Yeah, we thank all of you amazing icon designers out there who put in the work and submit them to the Noun project and other sites like that, because there's people like Kevin and I, we ain't got time for that. So we are going to give you the credit that's due and add it to our project or use it as an inspiration.
Absolutely. And I think, I don't know if the Noun project does this, but just filtering out icons by like the stroke, the line stroke, because you want a consistency with your icons, but I think that would be a great feature if they included that.
Yeah.
Because I think right now it's just like all different stroke, but I try my best to like find similar stroke levels, but yeah, that can be tough.
And that's the benefit, obviously, of creating your own icon library and your own assets is you control that stroke weight. You can create the filled and the stroked versions or color versions of everything. You have more fine-tuned control, and that's a great thing to do. Absolutely. Robert Wetterberg in the chat was just talking about, he likes to know about the flow, about designing an XD, maybe taking it over to Dreamweaver or hand coding things yourself. Kevin, do you work with a team of engineers or developers and you hand stuff off, or do you have a hand yourself in coding things?
So yeah, I would hand my assets to the developers. And then I think it's just very important and crucial to just always communicate with the developers, because they might just start designing or like creating something, and then not even let you know, and then they show you the final product and you're just like, this is not what I wanted.
Right.
But yeah, I always hand off my assets, and I think Adobe XD has a feature specifically to send stuff for development. It's like a link. Yeah.
And
what about
I'm
you?
sure we'll get there. Yeah, I mean, I definitely do some of the code as well myself, but if I don't have to, I don't want to. I enjoy the design portion of it way more. But I tell you, the share tab in Adobe XD has, in my opinion, changed the game, because you can create like this documentation, this for developers or user testers. Hit that share tab, create the link, and then share it out. And then people can experience your prototype at the exact way that they could experience it inside of Adobe XD. So all the auto animations and the timings, they get like a color palette and all the typography and sizes and spacing that you use. It's a really great handoff tool if you're working with developer teams, but also since I do code myself, sometimes I'll create that shared link and then I'll just use it while I'm coding a site by hand, because it's a great reference to constantly be measuring things and accessing all the variables in the code. So it's just, whether you do it yourself or hand it off, it's a pretty choice little way to do things.
I envy you for like knowing how to code, because that's one thing that I always wanted to like learn. I know a little bit, but like I'm not a professional at it. But yeah, you're like what do we call them? Like a unicorn in the industry, just like knowing everything. Like that's incredible.
I try, but I don't know how much of a unicorn I am. Like maybe a very short-horned unicorn, just a tiny little guy. But I'm probably more of a control freak than anything else. I like having my hand on the project like all the way through. That's my struggle.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, so right now, I got all these different icons, like this magnifying glass for search, and then just these accents of like sparkles, and I combine them together just to give it some more personality and like different accents for the icons. I love like the sparkle icons, like, so I know I'm kind of using it excessively, but I mean, this is my project, so
I just also think it's going to bring, like, even though you got these icons and they were from different icon designers, different sets, when you add maybe like a little sparkle element to all of them, it brings some sort of unification to them and makes them feel like they're all part of the same family, which is cool. It's just about bringing some of that consistency throughout.
Yeah. And yeah, that's what I was aiming for then. So that's good that you can see that.
There's an art to borrowing icons, and Kevin is giving us the master class in it right now.
I mean, like even like this illustration, I'll probably customize it, but yeah, there's an art in borrowing. I like that.
Yeah, I think if you've ever read one of my favorite books is by Austin Kleon, and it's Steal Like an Artist, or How to Steal Like an Artist, and he talks about using reference and falling in love with it and finding why that designer or why that artist loved that thing, but then integrating it, not stealing, but borrowing.
Borrowing, yes. That makes me feel better.
Robert, there's also Robert was the one in the chat that was talking about handing sites off to developers or coding them himself. You can definitely use Dreamweaver, or you can use any other code editor. If hand coding things yourself isn't really your bag, the no code movement is pretty fire right now. And so there's a lot of other applications you can use as well to like visually code your website if you would like to do that as well.
Oh wait, no code? What's that? Just like...
No code is just the way that you can create websites without actually having to code. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a whole movement of people who want to be able to create mobile apps and websites without actually having to learn how to code themselves. So there's some tools out there. You could do a little research on it, but some pretty cool stuff.
Nice. That's awesome. Okay, sweet. So I think that's good. Oh wait, that's too small. So I'm gonna get rid of that. So since we're going for like this purple theme, I might just change all these to this color.
I love that you're using the color variables inside the assets panel. So later on, if you decided you wanted that to be a different shade of purple, or you wanted it to be a completely different color, you just have to change it one time in that asset panel and it'll change everywhere, which is working smarter, not harder. So can we all just
Yes.
golf clap for the fact that Kevin is working smarter and not harder? I love it.
I'm gonna pretend like I'm hearing the whole applause right now.
That's right. It's in the background.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, I think like having a component library, assets library, like is super crucial because, like you said, it changes the game. It makes your life so much easier. If you have a certain component and you just want to make one update to it, you don't have to go to like every single like thing and then like to update it. You could just change it once. So yes.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's great. I mean, especially Kevin right now, he's got like one page is assigning, and you might say, what's the big deal with assets or components? But imagine this website starts to scale and becomes like 50 or 100 pages, and you have to change that one icon everywhere. Oof, that could be a real pain. So
exactly. So another cool tip I like to do is just preview my work just to make sure like everything's like aligned. Like right now I can tell like the spacing is weird for this header. So it's always good to just like take a moment, look at the preview, like these nav items are too big for text. So I'll probably make these smaller, but yeah, just taking that break and then like going back to how it looks like will be helpful. So like maybe if I wanna, that's like the spacing.
Yeah, I like that tip, the constant preview tip. It's good. I think a lot of people don't do that, and they end up designing for a really, really long time, and then they go to preview and they go, wow, everything looks out of control here, and just flipping on that preview screen like every once in a while. You know, same thing I saw Kevin, if you notice, Kevin was kind of turning on and off his layout grid like every once in a while, because he's just looking through the design and constantly make sure things line up. So
yeah. I might make this bigger, but I'm using Matterhorn. It's my favorite font. If anyone was wondering, but
is that a go-to for you?
I feel like it is, because I don't know, it has a lot of like it's a sans serif, and I just love how it looks on websites.
It's clean, it's modern, it's nice. I'd love to know in the chat, what are some of your like favorite go-tos as far as like making a website like this? This seems to be a little bit more of a modern website. So what would you jump to? Let us know in the chat. We'll do a little typography conversation right now.
What's your favorite font?
You know, I'm trying to shake off the love of Poppins that Howard Pinsky has given me, but I just can't stop going back to it. Like I'll try other things, and then I go back to Poppins because I'm like, I just love it. I don't know, but the other day I tried something completely different that was totally wrong on a project, just because I was like, I can't stop defaulting to Poppins so much. I got to get out of my lane.
I know whenever I saw his streams, he always talks about that font. I'm just like, I need to try it out.
I like it. So I'm into it.
So wait, what should we call this Penpal website? Because I don't want to be just like Penpal website. So if anyone has any ideas, I am open to that as well.
All right, let's start the naming conversation in the chat. What do you think we should name this Penpal website? Eric Sue says he loves Nimbus San. I don't think I've played with Nimbus San. I'll have to check that one out.
There's so many.
I mean, I definitely I would run really quickly to like Futura, like Gotham, Poppins. I love Sophia Pro. These are all really good ones. I actually just used the other day, I was looking for a serif font on a site that I was working on, and I just went old school. I just went to Georgia, and I was like, why do I like this? This is default font from the 80s. I love it.
Oh my gosh, you need to send me a list of fonts, and I'll just try them out and see.
I'm a nerd, and I can't I'm also a typeface hoarder, so my computer is just bogged down with thousands and thousands of typefaces. and I can't.
Oh, really?
I can't get rid of them. All of them are like near and dear to me, even though I never use them.
Do you have like them organized in like different folders, or is it just like a hot mess everywhere?
It's a hot mess. I'm I'm a hot mess hoarder. Like it's stacks of National Geographics in a dingy room type hoarder, but it's all typefaces in random folders that I haven't seen in 7 years. But if somebody goes, "Why don't you get rid of it?" I go, "I can't. I love it too much. I love it
too much. Oh my gosh, I relate to that so much because it's like, I mean, it's good to be organized, but it's just like, again, we have no time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Got no time. Kevin, tell me a little bit. Okay, so when you're wireframing, I noticed above you had boxes around certain areas, like in your big hero header area, also down in this kind of like value proposition area with the icons, and then you wipe the boxes away. I think it's a misconception that some people have that wherever you wireframe a box, there's going to be an actual box there. Could you speak to that a little bit?
Right. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, it's just any content that's going to be in there. It doesn't have to be like the shape of a box. It's just like this icon can, even though it looks like it's a box, it's just like, it's not in a box. It's just the icon or image that you want to put in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not essentially like you have to have a box image because you put a box in your low fidelity. Like even like these circles, right? It's not, I don't know if I'm gonna have like a left and right arrow for these testimonials. I might just have just the left and right arrow by itself without the circle. But yeah, you just have to play around with it and see what you're looking for.
Yeah. So when you think about boxes, everybody out there that's watching the stream, don't think it has to actually be in a box, right? Like that's not necessarily the case. Kevin's just laying out the areas in which certain elements are going to go as a reference. Side note, Lauren S said Brandon Grotesque. That's one that I love. I love that typeface, and I would never get rid of that typeface in a million years. It's so pretty. So pretty. Also, if you're looking for typefaces out there, you can look Adobe stock. We were talking about stock images before, but you can also go to Adobe fonts. So I'm just thinking about, fonts.adobe.com. And if you have the Adobe like Creative Cloud, you can sync fonts and they just sync right into your local like Adobe Creative Cloud thing, which is super nice. Oh yeah, Eric Sue says, I only use Adobe fonts nowadays, unless a brand has their own custom font. You know why, Eric Sue? Because you're wise beyond your years. That's why.
That's good to know. So right now, I'm making the testimonials cards. I just grabbed this image from UI Faces plugin. If you didn't see how I did it, I basically clicked on plugins, UI Faces, picked a source on Splash, selected a photo, and then just looked through all, like which one piqued my interest. So yeah, I mean, I just clicked one and then applied it, and then it just popped up.
Cool.
So super easy. Oh, this is a good question. Are you for rounded corners or for not rounded corners?
Ooh, them's fighting words, that question. It's like, am I into rounded corners? I think like hard edge corners, rounded corners, and completely rounded things all have their place. It depends. It depends on, like, does it fit the rest of the design? So I'm all about rounded corners.
For sure. Me too. Yeah.
I'm not about, you tell me what you think about this. Is there like a certain amount of border radius on corners that's like a no-no though?
My go-to would be 6.
Yes, you're the man. That was so right. You just spoke to my heart with that number.
Oh, really? Okay, good. Yeah.
6.
Oh my gosh. It's like 4 or 6. And then like, God, if it's just, I don't know. I think going past 8 or like 10 might be too much.
Yeah.
You want it to be subtle.
You want it to be subtle. So. Same thing with drop shadows is like, you want them to be subtle. I keep most drop shadows like under 10% usually, transparency.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's personal preference.
I do. There's this trick that we do at my work, and we keep the X and Y 0, and then we keep the B as a 20, and then we do that same number as the opacity. So yeah, just for like cards or like anything, like that's like, I guess, like a rule of thumb that we personally use for our brand.
Nice.
But yeah, everyone has a different preference, and honestly, that's totally fine.
It's up to you. It's all you. Yeah. Is that do you guys use a design system?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you that are watching, design systems are just kind of a way to, it's one step past a style guide or a pattern library. It's where you really start documenting the way that you do design. And it's kind of like a rule set to make sure that everything stays consistent. So Kevin works for a pretty large company, and they need a way to keep design consistent across all of the things they're working on. So design systems. And I don't know, we might hear a little something about how XD is a great option for design systems. I heard we might hear something about that at Adobe Max. So if you're not signed up for Adobe Max, you should be, because they're going to unveil some fire for all of us.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited, just like with all the different like talks that's happening for Adobe Max. So
yeah, me too.
Which ones are you signed up for?
You can go into log into your Adobe Max thing. I think I forget the names of them, but I have like 10 sessions that I'm already signed up and scheduled and created in my calendar, which is super cool that you can kind of see your calendar and your schedule for this whole remote Max. So that's pretty awesome. I know I'm signed up for at least 4 Adobe XD sessions, and nice. they like 4 out, maybe 3 out of the 4 may or may not be Howard Pinsky, because I'm a super fan of his, and I just
100%.
I like watching Howard work. He just, something about the way he makes boop sound effects makes me happy in my heart.
Oh my gosh, him and his boops is just like, it's incredible. Like it's his brand.
It's too good. It's his brand
for sure. Did we ever come up with a Penpal website name in chat?
I don't know if we did. I didn't see anybody really jumping out there with a name. I think I got everyone too overhyped on typography talk. So if you have a good idea, a good concept for a name for this Penpal website, Kevin would love to hear your feedback. We'd love to know what you think.
For sure. Cool. So basically right now I'm, making the footer. I don't know what to put here. I'm just going to put like the socials and just put them as circles and then find icons for it later.
That's good.
But, actually, I could just do this.
Gonna hit that repeat grid right now. That's what's up. Repeat grid just makes things so easy.
I know. It's just so simple. Like
Lindsay Palmer said as a name for your web app or your website that Postmates would be great, but that's it's already a thing. And it's not.
Oh my gosh.
Postmates. That fits this way better.
Oh God. Should we just take it? Just call it Postmates. That'd be insane.
Voodoo Val says better letter.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that.
Better
Voodoo Val's always got the good. Voodoo Val's always got the good ideas.
Better letter. Okay. That'll be our name. Thank you, Val. Oh my gosh.
Better letter. Voodoo. So fun.
Okay. What did I put for the nav items? Let's see. I put, here. People search, store, profile, account settings, logout. Okay. So store.
People are excited about the name. I think we had some other good options, like Parcel Pals from Mallory gave that one. Let me see, what else do we have? Postmates. Yeah, these are all great. But I think better letter. It's just so catchy.
Yeah, it's like, it's a better letter because like it's coming from the heart. you put effort into like having a physical written letter, so it's a better letter.
It is a better letter. I'm into it. Love what's happening right now. So when you're thinking, it's interesting, like the way that you're like kind of wireframing this, you're thinking a little bit of color, but you're not going full high fidelity. Is that how you tend to work? It's hard for you to fully like just stay with like the layout and the format, or is this you kind of evolving it into that high fidelity?
It's like slowly evolving into that high fidelity, yeah. Because I like using very minimalistic colors and just like a singular color or maybe like an accent color later on. But I feel like if you overcrowd a website or any product with just color, different types of color, it gets too busy and you just
Right.
want it to be simple, modern, especially for like my style, just like minimalistic, modern, clean.
Yep.
But yeah.
Super good.
But if we want to get fun with it, we could add like different accents or like I don't know, like a squiggly line
Yep.
to just like make it more fun. But so I would just go like this, and then I didn't even plan this. I'm just like doing it on the spot, but like you can
Just
like
some little accent
customize
squiggles.
this.
Yep.
I mean, I could have done the repeat grid, but yeah, like something like this.
Which is cute because it kind of looks like a little stamp, like things from the post office.
Oh, you're right. That's exactly what I was going for. No, but that's true. You're right. Oh, cool.
It's got that little vibe to it. I love it.
And then we can just like copy and paste that right here. And then if we want to do, I don't know, like little dots of purple, and then here we could do the repeat grid here as well. And then make it closer.
Again, if you're just joining us, we got Kevin Lee today, digital and interactive designer from Disney, who is creating a Penpal website, a space for people to come and find other pen pals and actually write letters, get off the old interwebs and write like with an actual pen and paper. And it just recently got named Better Letter by some folks in the chat. So he's having fun. Oh yeah, I love these little accents. These are great.
Right, just like little circles, just to like pop this testimonial page out a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Maybe instead of preview, we can just get rid of the grid and see how it looks like. Yeah, I mean, like super clean. I mean, we'll probably add more later, but like maybe on the sides, we'll add like bigger ones to like give it more.
Just some more character.
Character on the edge. Maybe we'll use this one.
Yeah, I love the idea of taking familiar assets, like whether it's your sparkles or your squiggles, all those little kind of like things that you're adding to it, and then using that, breaking the plane of like the edges of the website, bring the transparency down. It's just, you're having a little bit more fun with it without overwhelming the site itself. I think that can be a fun thing to do.
Exactly. Oops. These are all. Let's give Serenity a little sparkle, you know, just like right by her profile picture.
Beautiful. I'd love to know if everybody else out in the chat right now is signed up for Adobe Max and what sessions you're excited for. I heard somebody earlier say Kathleen Martin. I know she is going to be presenting.
Kathleen!
Sure,
oh my
Adobe
gosh.
Max. That's going to be super fun.
Kathleen is so talented. Oh my gosh, her work, her illustrations.
Yeah, I love when Kathleen hosts some of the daily creative challenges. She just does such a rocking job.
We don't need 3. We could just have 2. Just a little sparkle on
Just
her.
little accents here or there. Just kind of brings it to life. It's nice.
Cool. Awesome. So we have, I mean, the footer's not really fun, so we won't even get there. But yeah, I mean, like, I feel like this is a pretty good website. We could move these navigations here. Oh, and then we need a registration button or like register to like create an account. So maybe I'll create a button somewhere here. What's like your rule for height for buttons?
Oh man, that's, you know what? I think I used to be like have hard and fast rules about buttons, and now I don't. Now I'm like, well,
No more rules.
No, there's no more rules. That old button rule's meant to be broken. There's probably some rules, but I feel like as long as it fits the rest of what everything else is doing, right? Like it locks up with the typography, and it makes sense size wise.
Yeah, for me, it's like more of like a visual thing. Just like,
yeah,
once you get that visual thing done, then you can start creating rules based off that. So wait, let me see. Okay, that's way too small.
definitely is one of those rules though that probably is still a rule, is making sure there's like clear call to action, like quote unquote above the fold, which is what you're doing. I think there's still, people say there's no above the fold, but there still kind of is above the fold.
Yes. So I realized I didn't like the better letter stacked together, like on top of each other. So I'm just gonna make it one line here. And then just make this bigger. We want people to register. Please register.
Yeah.
Create an account. Okay.
When you were setting up in your wireframing, had you already thought about your typographic scale between this better letter headline right here and the body copy below? Or is that something you'll go in and tweak as the design evolves?
You know, yeah, so I am in the back of my head when I'm designing, I'm always thinking of consistency and creating this component library or, you know, asset library. So as you can see, like this logo here is 24 for the, what is it, font size. And then, you know, the navigations are 16. This is like a huge header. So this could be like header 1, so 64. This is the body text, so 16 as well. Registration button is 24. So that's 16, 24, 36, 64. I'm thinking that like, okay, this is going to be consistent throughout all the pages. So yeah, like for her name, 24, just like setting rules on when to use which headers, when to use body text, when to bold the body text for the navigation items, I think is, yeah, crucial.
That's good. Yeah. Yeah, I think consistency is more key than anything else. I think you can get really wrapped up in the whole typographic scale thing, and is it perfect? Is it using the golden ratio? And it's like, yeah, that's not a bad question, but is it consistent? That's the bigger question, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I saw a website where it was like, no, I had a client when I did freelance. Not gonna say any names, but all their text was different sizes. Like one was 23.2 and then another one was like 22.5. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to. So the reason they hired me was to have that like typography consistency and just like brand consistency. So I mean, I'm glad I was there to help, but it was just a hot mess.
Definitely. Yeah, consistency is key, and sometimes you gotta fix it. Sometimes you gotta go in and lay the typographic hammer down.
Yeah, and you know, that's why it's just good to have it in the back of your head. So I'm just again repeating this, you know, design element even for this illustration.
Yeah, here comes, like you were talking earlier, like the customization of the illustration that's up top. You're doing it with some of the design assets or the little embellishments that you did down below, you just brought those up. And now all of a sudden it's a little bit more customized. It's not just stock straight out of the box.
Yes, exactly. So even for like if I want to make her skin like a little bit lighter, like that, there's that customization. But I think that was a good. We'll go with this artist suggestion because it's actually pretty nice.
Yeah, that's actually a good color combo. I love it.
Have you ever used this plugin?
The UnDraw plugin, I have actually. Yeah, you were using UI Faces, also one of my favorite. Like a really, really good one. I love that one.
So
I'm opening up my XD now and looking at the rest of the plugins that I have that I like to use.
okay, so I think we're good with this homepage. Now we can get started on the registration page.
Cool.
So what I'll do is I will actually go back to the homepage and make everything like a component. So like this navigation bar, that'll be repetitive for like all these different pages. So I could just change it once. I mean, you could make this a component, but I feel like this is the only time I'll be using this. So I don't think I wouldn't need this anywhere else on my product. And I mean, I could have made this a component as well and then just repeated it and then changed just the icon or whatever. But I mean, I won't have another thing like this in another page, so it doesn't matter. So I think the only thing on this page would be the footer and the navigation bar. So I'll make this.
I like that workflow that you just kind of confirmed there, which is you don't necessarily need to start making components until you move on and say, oh, I'm going to need that again. Otherwise, you can get really bogged down and start creating a design system you don't necessarily need yet. So
yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I feel like once you design something, like that would be the perfect timing to like think like, okay, I'm going to reuse this. I'm going to make it into a component.
Yeah, because otherwise, I feel like you did that pretty quick. Like you evolved that wireframe into a little bit more of a high-res mock-up, like pretty quick. And if you would have been trying to stop and figure out design system, it would have bogged you down, I feel like. So
yeah, for sure. And then now, so for this page, again, going with that like curly, rounded design elements, I'm adding like this accent in the bottom just to give the page more flavor. Maybe I'll change this to be darker because another key thing about designing is thinking about accessibility. Because there's people, with color blindness that, probably can't see a text on top of a background color. So I think it's crucial to really keep that in the back of your head as well. Like right now I can tell like maybe this doesn't meet ADA requirements. So I'll probably tone down this purple a little bit more.
Yeah, there's a great plugin. I don't know if you've ever used the Stark plugin inside of Adobe XD.
I've heard of it. Yes.
Yeah. But you can check for like colorblind simulation, contrast, like a bunch of different versions of it. It's pretty cool to use.
Ooh, yeah. I need to get that. That's actually a really good plugin. Especially at Disney, like since our audience is so huge, it's super important to think about that. Okay, cool. So for the registration, I put a list of things. It's just so good to like have everything like written down and then just like going back to it. So like for my registration, we would want the email, birthday. So these are just like text boxes that I quickly made. Want it to be like faded out gray. Okay.
I think it's cool that you kind of had, you set up a layout or a structure for like the input fields that you liked, you knew you were going to do. Because input, like form field and input design is like its own beast. Like it is a thing that you got to like practice to get really good at.
Yes, exactly. And I'm just going back to my grid. Let me see. Perfect. You know what? I'm gonna lock this layer because I hate it when like you have a background color and then like you like accidentally move it a little bit.
Yes.
So you could just lock it and then it won't move. So let me, oops.
Yeah, there's nothing more frustrating than trying to work on things and then you move the background shapes as well.
And it's like, oh my God, I'm just gonna lock everything. But
are you like a big hotkey, like quick key user?
I am, but I need to learn more about like what shortcuts there are, like hotkeys. But if you have any tips, I'm so down to like.
I'm a big fan of like if you're gonna lock something, I think it's just Command or Control L, right? Yeah, Command or Control L lock something really quickly. So I like that one.
Let me see. Oh, it is. And if I want to, okay. See, I didn't know that. There we go. Easy. Okay, so let's see. For this, we'll have. What did I say? Oh, I said email. Okay.
Yeah. Voodoo Val wants to know, is there, do you have some favorite websites that you've just kind of fallen in love with recently? Something that just stood out to you, was really well done?
Oh gosh, Airbnb. Like they made a new site for like virtual events for Airbnb, which is super cool, super smart. And just like their clean setup, their iconography, illustrations, and like how they just designed everything was well executed. So yeah.
That's a good one.
What about you?
I was literally going to say Airbnb as well, because they do, like you said, a really good job of balancing illustration and like imagery, but still keeping the interface really clean and usable. I think they're like a great and excellent like site for that. It's like to look for inspiration. I have a few other ones that I really, really love too. I'll have to look.
I used to have a huge like bookmark folder just called like cool websites. And then I would just bookmark all these websites that I thought were super cool.
Yeah, I a lot of times I'll go to the awards.com, like www.awards.com.
Oh, that's right.
Site, and those are like all the winners. And a lot of times they're doing things that are like kind of pushing the boundaries of web design and web development. So that's a really cool site to look for inspiration.
Also Behance too. Like the way Behance set up their website, and like even like the streaming service right now, like Adobe Live or like just Behance streaming, I think they are doing pretty good with that as well.
Kevin, where do you find, you do similar to me, you do like a lot of digital work, right? Like web design, UI design, but, and I know you have like photography as something on the side that is like a passion of yours, but where do you find inspiration outside of digital things?
Like for my photography or like
just for anything. Yeah, just for anything in life. Where do you find kind of creative inspiration?
Oh my gosh, before it used to just be like networking events. Because like you could meet so many cool people that just have a different perspective on like life and just creativity. But now it's just like it's all through social media, basically, like Instagram or Facebook or even like Twitch or Behance. Like there's just so much creative people everywhere live streaming. So yeah, even YouTube as well. So
cool.
What about you?
I have been, especially over the last few years, looking a lot more at like architecture and magazine, like editorial magazine layout, and letting that try to inspire like my web design, just because I feel like for years we kind of got like locked in to how websites should look. And now I feel like there's more freedom, because it's not like the wild, wild west of web development what you can do in code anymore. There's a lot more things are figured out. And so you can push the boundaries a little bit more. So I feel like we're having more fun as web designers and UI designers now than we ever have.
Well, we're definitely finding unique ways to like find that, creativity. So Wow, that's cool. Especially for like architecture magazines. Like I would never have thought of that. That's awesome.
Yeah, they have. I mean, you just go back to some of those design basics, right? Like line and shape and form, and you look at how simple, kind of like what you're doing with the site, right? Like how simple something can be and how it serves this purpose while still being just simple and beautiful. I think that architecture has a great way of doing that. So, when you create these form fields, what kind of considerations do you have when you're thinking about like the usability of a form field?
Yeah. So right now I'm just doing a 2-column, and I know that, so like, especially using the grid, right? Like you see the first grid all the way over here, and then the last layout, like grid over here, um, as well. But as far as like the content, I don't like to move everything like towards the edge.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is such a wide display already. Like, what is this? This is like 1920 for the width,
Mm-hmm.
that the content would be so hard and so difficult for a user to just like navigate with their eyes from like left to right. That's kind of exhausting. So having everything centered, especially the content and forms, um, is like makes the user focus more on like where everything is. But like for me, like I feel like these text boxes are like already too long, but yeah, you want to like a limit of like how long you want a text box to be, or a drop down to be. And
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting because we work in a medium, right? Like when we make websites or like digital products that have to respond to the screen size. And so we have to think about, what is this going to look like on I'm literally over here to the right-hand side. I have a 34-inch monitor. That's like, what is this going to look like on a 34-inch monitor? Is it going to keep stretching? How long is this line of text going to get? And that's where the designer really has to start making some choices that are kind of rules that will last, like they span across all device types, device sizes. So here's a question about kind of responsive design. What point in your workflow do you start thinking about the mobile version of this?
Right away.
Yeah, you're thinking about it in your head right away.
Yeah, because it's like, oh my gosh, there's common practices to convert everything to like mobile. Like for this, mobile, you can't really have a 2-column for mobile because it's so small. So you would just make them these text boxes on top of each other. So yeah, like right now I'm just thinking like, okay, for mobile, it'll probably be like all stacked up like that. For tablet can be more reasonable with the desktop version because it's a big screen. So yeah, like I'm always thinking about it like in the back of my head, and it's just a good practice.
Yeah, it's good.
Because a lot of cases, I think a lot of people and clients or corporate companies will want a mobile version or tablet version, just responsive.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good practice.
Good. Also, kind of an interesting topic that Voodoo Val is talking in the chat right now to some folks is, when do you start thinking about presentation? Like, obviously, like, let's say this project was gonna, be worked all the way to the end. Do you document your process and keep that for your Behance case study? Are you thinking about presentation stuff right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think for all these different websites to showcase your work, even on your portfolio, like it's good to know like just the key things, especially for looking for client work or jobs, like what you want to showcase. So for me, I actually did a talk at my old my university as an alumni, and I was saying like, if you want to get into UX UI, the things that they want to know is just, what was the problem, how did you solve it, like your research, and then the final design.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just a common thing for like any UX UI interaction designers. Like you're solving problems, you're researching, and then you're designing.
Right.
So yeah, that's how I'm displaying it. But like, yeah, I mean, I see all these different people that create this beautiful like one scroll layout of like their process. I'm amazed by like their work. So
right. Yeah, I think presentation for me has always been about two things, and you kind of hit on it like really well, which is you want to present the work, you want to put your best foot forward. It's a portfolio piece. You want to showcase what you can do, but what you can do has to be more than just visual, because as designers, the value we bring is problem solving, like you said, right? So we want to show that we heard the problem and we diagnosed it well, and that we solved the problem. And there's so many people that can design aesthetically beautiful things, but I tend to think, yes, that's important, but we also need to be, like diagnosing and solving things correctly. So a friend of mine, Jonathan Courtney, runs a company called AJ and Smart, and he talks a lot about, in your case studies, you should have a section that talks about like how did this work out? Did this project increase leads or sales or revenue? Speaking a little bit of the big business language is important, because really at the end of the day, most likely those are the problems we're trying to solve, is help companies make more revenue or get more leads or attention online.
Exactly. I think that's well said. Yeah, exactly, like about like how much revenue or engagement did this website gain compared to like the last time. So
Right.
yeah, that's a good point.
A quick note, keep in mind, everybody, in about 24 minutes, we're going to just take a little break from Kevin Lee's amazing work here as he's making Better Letter, his Penpal website or web application. And we're going to jump over to the Artist Spotlight again in about 24 minutes, where we take a really long, solid look at a piece of work, at a featured artist today. So if you would like to get your work featured, or you have somebody you think would be great for an Artist Spotlight, you can look in the tab above that says Artist Spotlight and fill out the form that is linked there. And maybe you'll get your stuff featured as well. And Kevin and I will get to talk about it, or some of the other amazing people that we have on Adobe Live.
Sweet. So now that I've finished the registration page, kind of want to like, what I'm thinking of, like how I'm going to animate this. So it'd be cool if like this swivel like moved every time a person like goes to the next page. So once they entered their registration information, like I'll use the same element and then probably just flip it so that, or like, I don't know, maybe I'll like add on to it. So just the swivel just keeps moving and moving.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna, let's see. Just move this more here.
Again, if you're just joining us, we're with Kevin Lee. He's designing this this Better Letter website or web application so people can find pen pals. And you're doing something that's really cool, which is, I love that Adobe XD allows us to do this, which is we can edit the object and make it a path. And then as we auto animate all the path, like all the nodes on that path will actually animate. It's super cool. It's really fun.
Maybe we'll just leave this part. Oh shoot, should I wonder if like this stuff should move too, like in the background. So then it kind of looks like clouds and like a hill a little bit. And then maybe
Kevin,
I'll make this
I feel like you have this subconscious like design rationale going on, and it's like, I don't even think you know that you're doing it, but it's like you created all these awesome little aesthetic like additions, and they look like postage. And then as you're animating things, it's as if like these letters are traveling, and you see the postage move and the land move. Like you're doing all this subconsciously.
Oh my gosh,
like you're blowing my mind.
I didn't even think about that. That's like, yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking about like what's gonna look cool, but then that's totally right. Like the letter is moving, and that's a good, yeah, I like that.
It just goes to show, like, Kevin's demonstrating something that like he's in the zone right now, and he's just iterating and concepting, and it's just kind of coming out of him naturally, which is super cool.
I mean, what can I say? Just kidding. But yeah, like I just love like just an animation tool for this, because I mean, you do a lot of tutorials and like a lot of shows at Behance. I'm sure like you've done like cool things with animation, auto animate.
Oh, auto animate is my friend. I love it. It's just the funnest thing to play with because you just bring these static looking designs to life, and you can show people this prototype and they're amazed. They're like, is this real? Is this on the line right now? You're like, no, it's just a prototype. It's so cool. But I think also like what it allows you to do, which is exactly what you're doing. People are asking about like, do you design for mobile first in the chat, or does it depend on the project? But one thing I will say before I let you answer that is you've said you're already kind of thinking about what mobile will look like, but you're also already thinking about what all the animations and micro interactions are going to be. It's just happening kind of in the background, and it's cool to see your process. It's like it's surfacing as you create.
Exactly. So I'm gonna do something interesting where when someone wants to add multiple things, it's like a chip system. So let me see. So if they entered, like, what's a good movie right now?
I just got done watching the Peanut Butter Falcon last night with Shia LaBeouf, where he makes best friends with a young boy who has Down syndrome, and they go on like a Mark Twain adventure. It made me cry and laugh and cry some more.
It's called the Peanut Butter Falcon.
Yeah, he's this little boy who wants to become like a professional wrestler, and it's so sweet.
Okay, we'll use that Peanut Butter. Okay, what an interesting name. That's like,
I know.
Okay, so this is Jesse's profile.
Yes.
We'll do Peanut Butter Falcon. Actually, I'll make this darker. Longer. So yeah, this is a good example of like when to use like rounded corners, like really rounded corners, because it's like a chip, and it's not like a text box or anything. So
makes sense.
How does this look? Okay, I don't like how that looks. Let me see if I can make this. Or maybe I just need to make the text box bigger.
Maybe the text box a little bit bigger. This great. I mean, this is like a really popular like UI pattern for like tags, or like adding a little keywords to something. Like you can do this in Behance when you upload your project, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's going with that like user familiarity, like what they're used to. So yeah,
that's a great topic, like to think about, like not reinventing the wheel, but using like established design patterns that people know. It's great. That's good UX.
So, oh, perfect. So as you can see, I just changed the height of the text box on, oh wait, I don't think it changed actually. So wait, so 58 was for this new text box. So if I made this 58, I wonder if it'll change. Yeah, so it changed for everything else. And then these are drop down. So if I change it to 58 and then move this down, they all move at the same time. Perfect. Oh, you know what? I still don't like it. I feel like it's too big now. Let me see. 50.
It's all a balancing game.
It's like you're going back and forth to see. Let's try 50. Okay.
Oh, I see. You're going back and just kind of updating the rest of the form field, the input fields.
Yeah, just to make it consistent.
This is why forms are not easy, because there's a lot of consideration, right? Like all these fields have to be extendable for future usage, and it's tough.
right? It's just, yeah, it's you have to keep going back and forth of just like, does it look good? Like, does it, how is it?
Yeah. This to me is like if you go do a search like for really good Behance projects and you see somebody who does really good form design, I'm like, oh, you're legit. Because you're thinking it's always nice to do like a really big, impressive like hero image or header or something. That's like you do really elegant form design. Oof, that's something else.
Um, yeah. So for this one, I'm thinking like, oh, what if it's like a different text box because you're putting multiple
That makes
like
sense.
items. So I'm gonna make this a larger text box. Let me see. How would I like make this not, oh, ungroup component?
There you go. Yep.
Okay. So this is a new component. Here. So we'll make this, we'll name it big text box.
There you go.
Okay. Get rid of that. Okay, so what are some other questionnaire items? Fave band and artist. Favorite artist. What's your favorite artist?
What type of artist?
Oh, favorite musician.
Favorite
We'll say
musician?
that.
Ooh, gosh, I have to go like right now. I'm gonna say I'm on a Lady Gaga kick right now.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
I am.
amazing. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Okay, we'll put Lady Gaga. What's your favorite song right now?
So I can't stop listening to A Star Is Born soundtrack, dude. It's so good. Like
Oh my
falling in
God,
love with Bradley Cooper every moment that I listen to it.
her voice is just incredible. Like, it's on like another level.
Oh, it's so good, yeah.
Okay. Why does that look?
Because I think you had the shape, yeah, it turned into a path. So when you shrunk it down, I think it changed maybe the roundedness.
Oh, okay. So then I would have to like
If you
decomponent.
well, you could double click on the shape if you want, and then just grab each of those 3 anchor points, the nodes, and then drag the
Oh,
whole
and then
thing
just
in.
move it.
Yep.
Oh, okay. That's very interesting.
It's a good note for all of you out there who are wondering the difference between like a shape and a path. You can draw any shape out in XD, and then if you hit enter or return on it, it'll transform it into a path where you can individually change all the nodes and control them.
Very cool. Okay, cool. So we have that. There's just so many questionnaires right now.
So many you could do, yeah.
Hobbies, favorite food. We'll just do like these. Favorite. We'll just do 4. But like everyone gets the concept of like.
There you go.
Yeah. Favorite food. And then we'll do pets.
Cool.
What is your favorite or favorite animal?
Favorite animal.
Yeah. Okay, so what's your favorite food?
Poke, which is like the
Ooh.
Hawaiian treat, since I lived in Hawaii for so long.
I ate poke before the pandemic. I ate poke like every single day.
It's so good. If you if somebody out there doesn't know what poke is, it's raw like ahi tuna, and then you can get it in all sorts of ways. They usually put it in little cubes and have delicious sauce on it and toppings. Ugh, it's delicious.
You know what? Let's do a scenario where there's multiple chips just to show that differentiation.
Yeah.
Wait, so let me. Wait.
This would be a really good use case actually for using the responsive resize tools inside the inspector panel. So you could create like one tag, and then as you resize it, it would resize dynamically, like based on like the text that you type inside without having to resize it.
Oh, can you? Yeah, how do you do that?
So take your little tag that you have right there, your little chip, and make a component out of it. Command or Control K, depending on your operating system, and then you want to, I think it's make sure that responsive resize is on, and which it should be.
So let me just grab all this.
Yep.
And then make it a component. So I have to make this a component first.
Yep, make it a component. Boom, okay. And then your resize is on. And then turn on over in the, with it selected, turn on padding over there, like right underneath there. You have either stacks or padding. Boom, okay. Now padding is on. Now if you just type, change the word poke to salad or something or whatever, it should.
Poke salad.
Should, no? Update. Oh gosh, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Somebody else will have to tell me out there what I'm doing wrong. And Kevin, I may have just led you astray. Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. I mean, I'm down to learn that, so I'll just leave that there. But that would be great.
It's a cool feature. I gotta remember how to make it work.
And then, so what's another favorite food?
Oh, let's go. I love omelets. Love omelets.
I love omelets. Oh my gosh.
I know you do.
I got an omelet maker and it just got delivered, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to use it. It's like an omelet pan.
Special omelet pan?
Yes, an omelet pan. Oh my gosh. It's like what is it? Like a rectangle or like square sized pan specifically to make omelets, and it's easy to like roll the egg. Oh my gosh. So you know what I'm gonna do after this stream?
Just omelets, huh?
I have 2 cartons of eggs and I'm ready.
You're ready
to go ham.
Amazing.
Exactly. Okay, so I'll do that. Oh wait. Okay, so we have 4, so I think that's good. So then after the questionnaire page, we'll have like a cool maybe animation saying that the profile was completed. So we'll grab the same concept, same text on the top. Maybe it'll animate to the center saying profile completed. Delete these elements. Actually, maybe we'll have these elements like slide out. So then we'll like, let me actually group all this. Delete that.
I know we just learned the trick. Somebody in the chat fixed our button problem. They said Natasha Del Rio said it has to be it might have to be a shape, but I know that the absolute correct answer was put in there somewhere. Somebody said you have to make sure they're in a group. Aaron Hunter. So your elements, before you made it a component, you have to make sure that it is grouped together. So the text and the path of the button. And then if they're grouped first and then turned to a component, the responsive resize is going to work on the grouping that you've created. Thank you so much, everybody, for your help. It takes a community to make buttons work.
Oh wait, I think I did it wrong. Okay, so let me see. We're gonna figure this out right now.
We're gonna figure this out.
Because you know what? Ungroup component, so it's not a component.
And maybe let's take the other piece of advice too. Somebody had in the chat that maybe it needs to be a shape and not a path. So maybe remake that, just draw like a new shape instead of using that path that you've made there.
Oh, so
draw out a brand new rectangle. Get rid of that.
Oh, okay.
Because maybe it has to be a shape and not a path.
Perfect. And then I'm so excited for this. I'm excited for my omelet maker.
I know, it's so much excitement. So group them together first, and now make it a component, and then turn on when you, yep, you want to be in maybe the group, not the component itself. So make sure you go back into your layers panel.
Oh,
go back in your layers panel, double click into your master component you have there. And then make sure, oh, why aren't they grouped together? They should be grouped together.
Oh, like a group like that?
Yes, perfect. Now select that group and make sure that the padding is on the group.
Oh,
Boom.
okay.
Okay. So now you should be able to type something else.
Pokey and...
Oh, no. We're still messing it up. It's me. It's not you. It's me. Sorry, community. I'm totally just messing Kevin Lee up as he builds this amazing Penpal application. I'm like, Kevin, focus on the button components.
Okay, well, we'll go back to that if there's another solution.
We're gonna figure it out some other time.
I mean, this just has to be solved. Like, especially like even in my personal time, like I'm gonna Google it later. Like,
okay, sounds good.
Okay, so this is all gonna slide with the background. Let me move this so it doesn't touch. Oh. It'd be cool if it was like faded. Saying like you're done, but it's still there.
That would be cool. Yes, inactive states. Are you thinking now?
Yeah. So then for, let me see. Move this. Okay. So then let me get rid of this pokey. And then fade this. What was the opacity that I used? 43%. Okay.
And everybody keep in mind that we have about 3.5 minutes until we do our artist spotlight. We've been
already?
We've been with Kevin Lee for the past hour and a half, and he's been rocking this amazing website design. And we're 3 minutes away from artist spotlight. That's gonna be really, really exciting. So stick around.
Oh my god, when you're designing it, like time goes by so fast.
Time flies by, I know.
Okay, cool. So since everything's moving. Oh wait, what's this? Oh, okay. Okay, so I have this moving to the left, that moving to the left. I need to move this squiggly line. Go, go, go.
People in the chat are right now figuring out how fun it would be if we were all pen pals with other people in the chat. It's starting to dawn on them.
Oh my god, did I just start a thing?
You started a revolution of pen pals.
Let's just, yeah, you know what? We should all find a pen pal and just like,
it's totally different.
It's just better. Yeah. So like
5-year-old schoolgirl. I was so excited. Excited. It was great.
For me.
Me a sweet, encouraging letter, and it was great.
There's from my friends, and then I'm like, and then they put like asking questions, like a list of them, and then like it's just cool.
It makes me jealous.
There's also right to
refresh because we're about to
difficulties. I mean, that's
technical, but I like the offset
going based off like technical difficulty. Sometimes I'm just like, when I say like
difficulties behind us, it's time to move in. Daniel Tan, he is, and it looks like he focuses. Boy, oh boy, they're of a creative to me. What do you think, Kevin?
I mean,
here, look, they start to file and know what this is all about. It's work right now. And I love my name. Technical difficulties. Maybe our stream is out. We're going to keep going until we like in a skewed kind of presentational format. But we also,
I'm not a huge fan of like
horizontal scroll can be kind of tricky to do and to kind of,
this is a perfect example of like
about iconography. He's chosen these look like really simple like shape.
I'll buy an icon set from him.
Really accomplish some of these animations.
Oh, I even like that good touch of like
accents here or there, but it's there, which I think is beautifully done. This one especially breaks the internet because going like the stream is working. Kevin, can you see this little touch that's happening here? Like when it shifts over to the jungle scene,
Whoa.
I think it's like a simple, the tiger's going from
Just that transition, like illustrations, like this is
and everything has motion and movement to it. It looks like
whoa.
definitely Photoshop. Like some of the things that are just like
There we go. Oh my gosh. That's like I feel like
right?
this is beautiful.
It's they're kind of these splotchy organic dots that match to it, which I think make in UI design. Not every
Timeline,
a timeline
illustration. These circles,
but like the circles are this so good. I feel like I got to get a
I
good
think
argument to like always start with a
ability.
Yeah.
Like I think, but like the
absolutely. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's really good for you. A more well-rounded design right now, and who's trying to come up. Manual is extreme.
oh wow.
Design. You're like, I also like to do some illustration.
Like these are
a quick break. We'll hopefully be back in about if it really was this guy's portfolio breaking the internet. Or the other possibility.
that's a cool name for like
if we feel like we're having some technical difficulty, even if this stream, we're just bummed that we won't have this that's blowing up.
You know.
The internet can't handle.
Master, oh my sure.
We literally have NSA.
Hackers.
Give some more time.
Looks good. I love all these smiley faces.
They're really good. I hope this doesn't happen at Max.
Virtual, like my whole
and
some harsh.
how does switch over to Kevin
on my wall, the user wants being as the user clicks the profile page and then like letters and
cool and interesting. It was really cool, and again through like
this because this is something that's
gonna be great. So
I really hope so because
is if it could be pretty cool to maybe close and actually remove that like late iterations or variations of the buttons. So like I'll have like so I can just drag that same button.
That's right. That's being in the design industry, having, you know, clients or just working anywhere, there's like strict guidelines and restrictions of design. You can do anything you want. I have was that creative, oh my God, I can do anything.
Art and design is, you know, like some pretty simple and like easy, and it having a massive design brief.
Yeah. And I also love pink or like, just like a clean modern ways.
Towards the end of our stream, I'm at the same time, same place here. More stuff happening. Hopefully those won't have the same difficulties that we've